The world's spiritual energy, which was stirred by Yang Kai internal Kai, also returned to normal at this moment. Why are you giving up on this chance? Can you ask with a trace of a strange color in her eyes? Yang Kai smiled and shook his head. It's okay, I will come back sooner or later. I want to know more about how you separated after entering Star Territory. Kainu heard the words and smiled bitterly, but nodded and said, Alright, you are so worried about it, this is not the best time to break through. Now, he is more interested in the situation of the group of people from Ice Sect after they enter the Star Territory. Through her description, Yang Kai knew that the situation they encountered in the star field was much more dangerous than his own. Not to mention the starry sky storm, the meteorite sea is also extremely dangerous. Their flesh-body strength, spiritual mind cultivation level, is not as good as Yang Kai, so after entering Star Territory, it is impossible to easily resist the immediate crisis. If it is not for the protection of King Yu and others, with Su Yan's cultivation level, she will already fall long ago. In this way, Ice Sect's 2 elders who entered the Star Territory failed to escape successfully in a starry sky storm, and fell to death. Finally, only Ice Lord King Yu, Su Yan, Kan Yu, and Kan Hao fellow apprentice were left. The remaining 4 people had been wandering in the Star Territory for several years. When they were in desperate situation, they suddenly found a void tunnel. Although they do not know where the void tunnel in the starry sky leads, and what kind of dangers are ahead, if they give up that opportunity, they can no longer able to support themselves. So after some discussion, the 4 rushed into the void tunnel, but the void tunnel seemed a bit unstable, and there were a lot of road in the inner part. Everyone inadvertently separated, and after Kan Yu passed through the void tunnel, she found herself in the Shadow Star. As for the others, she couldn't tell where they went. After Yang Kai listened, his face was much heavier. If they were separated after passing through the same path, then Ice Master Kinju, Elder Kan Hao and Su Yan should have all come to the Shadow Star, but they took different paths in the void tunnel. God knows where those paths will send the remaining 3 people. Moreover, Yang Kai estimates that the remaining 3 should have a 90% chance of not being in Shadow Star, because there is a connection between him and Su Yan. This kind of connection will only become stronger as he grows stronger. At the beginning, Yang Kai once utilized 1 drop golden blood and circled around the Shadow Star. If Su Yan was really in Shadow Star, he would definitely notice. There will also be crossroads inside the void channel. This made Yang Kai a little confused, but the world is so big that there is nothing strange about it. He is just a small character of Saint King True Layer, there are still many things that he can't understand. The existence of Ice Soul Beach shows that the 3 are still alive, but don't know in which corner of Star Territory they are. After Kainu came to the Shadow Star, she appeared near the Black Raven City. At that time, she passed through the void tunnel, and she couldn't save her strength and very weak. Unfortunately, she met a few martial artists who had evil thoughts. When they saw her extraordinary appearance, she was attacked. Fortunately, there is a void return stage strong passing nearby who rescued her, then she was brought back to the Joyous Union Pavilion. Since then, Kainu has lived in the Joyous Union Pavilion, and practiced the dual cultivation technique given by the person who saved her. Over time, Kainu gradually realized what was going on here, and what fate would be waiting for her. Fortunately, her cultivation level was not low. Now that she has the cultivation level of Saint King 1 layer, not everyone can get her. Occasionally, a few very rich guests came here but did not select her. This has kept her free until now. Today, she got the news that there is a guest coming to the door, and she is going to leave the cabinet. Kainu was uneasy in her heart, but where does she know that the guest was actually Yang Kai? When Kainu was talking about this, Yang Kai had not interrupted, but just listened quietly. It seemed there is a bitter suffocation, and a few tears were wiped out during Kainu's speech. It's no wonder, she was an elder of the Ice Sect. Although she was not famous, she was also among the few strong people on the Tongsuan continent. After coming to Star Territory, she don't have the time to see the starry sky. After several times escaping and surviving from dangers, she was able to settle down but under house arrest, and became a prostitute. The comparison of before and after is a world apart difference. Yang Kai didn't know how to comfort her. Speaking of which, Kan Yu was barely his elders. The martial artist has a lot of way to stay young, so the true age could not be seen from appearance alone. Yang Kai can't comfort her like her peers, so it is a bit overwhelming. After her feelings calmed down, Yang Kai said, If I let you see the Star Territory where you got lost again, can you still recognize it? Don't dare say 100%, but I still have some impressions of some of the nearby stars. Kainu nodded gently. Good. Yang Kai's eyes lit up. There is time for another day. You tell me what characteristics those stars have. It's naturally okay, but with these alone, how do you determine the location? You don't have to worry about it, I naturally have my way. Oh yes, you just said you were put under some restraint. If it's convenient, can you show me? Naturally it's okay to look, but don't act rashly. The person who issued this restrictions was the one who saved me from the void return stage. It is also one of the masters of this joyous union pavilion. On weekdays, she is in the secret room here, meditating and practicing. If she is alarmed, it will be not good. I know. Yang Kai nodded slightly, and after Kainyu reached out her hand, Yang Kai took out 2 fingers and put it on her wrist. Saint Yuan turned into a stream, swimming in Kainyu's body. With the investigation, Yang Kai's expression gradually became dignified. After a long while, he retracted his fingers, revealing a thoughtful expression, and said, "It's not a vicious restrictions. It seems that the person just doesn't want you to run away. Well, I also tried to run for a few times, but every time she urged the restriction, making me so weak that I couldn't run far. And, if it wasn't for me breaking through the border of Saint King a few years ago, she won't be able to tolerate me like this." In the past few years, Kainyu was only a saint stage. The price of the woman who could enter the saint stage and the woman in the Saint King realm was completely different in this joyous union pavilion. So, even if Kainyu tried to escape many times before, the person was only slightly punishing her, and did not mean to hurt her fundamental. After Kainyu successfully broke through Saint King stage, she was pushed to become the object of dual cultivation for the VIP noble guests. Now that she think about it, the reason why she would rescue Kainyu at that time was probably because she had such a plan. After all, Kainyu looked helpless, and her cultivation was not low. If cultivated in Joyo's Union Pavilion, such a woman is undoubtedly more cost-effective. My stories are finished. What about you? What is the situation on Tongsuan continent? Has the bone race been raging? Kainyu sorted out her appearance and asked nervously. Although she has already come to star territory, for her, Tongsuan continent is still home, always thinking about it in her heart. Yang Kai smiled slightly. Don't worry about the things of the bone race. They have been wiped out. The Tongsuan continent is prosperous when I leave. The relationship between the demon race, monster race, and the human race has also been harmonized because of the common enemy. Bone race was annihilated. Kainyu face was surprised and asked, "How is it done?" Yang Kai teamed up with Tongshuan Continent 3 race to briefly talk about fighting against the bone race. Kainyu listened to him with fascinating smiles, and then after some questioning, Yang Kai also went into the star territory. Compared with Kainyu's experience, Yang Kai's journey is undoubtedly extremely exciting, and it is also extremely dangerous. As soon as he entered the star field, Yang Kai were captured and placed in the warship power room to extract the Saint Yuan to supplement the energy of the warship. In the chaotic abyss accident, the ship was destroyed, stranded in the hanging mainland, but also being held hostage by the ghost ancestor. Finally he escaped from the hanging mainland, and went to Moonwater Star, where he met Constant Gathering Chamber of Commerce young Master Shu Yu, and narrowly escaped from her enemies on the way to Rainshower Star. He lifted the soul chain, escaped from the Rainfall Star, and slept for several years, while being protected by the blood-red crystals. Drifting all the way to Shadow Star, and met Wu Yi and others from High Key family. Speaking of the recent opening of the Flowing Flame Sand Field, Yang Kai stopped. Of course, Yang Kai ignored the past subconsciously when he battled with Shu Yu third young masters on the Death Star, and in his story, Shu Yu was just a man. After listening to it, Kainyu continued to express emotion, such as envy and admiration. What envied her was that Yang Kai was free and unconstrained. What she admired was that he had rushed over so many dangers along the way, and initially entered the star territory to find Su Yan, which made Kainyu feel good about Yang Kai, and felt that Su Yan girl did not entrust her life to the wrong person. And from his concern for Su Yan, even after so many years, Su Yan's weight in his heart is not diminished. After being silent for a moment, Kainyu suddenly smiled secretly, looking at Yang Kai said, "Looking at you like this, it's really doubtful, even has the time and thoughts to come to this place." Yang Kai was stunned and immediately knew that she was grievous for Su Yan, and quickly waved her hand. Elder Kainyu misunderstood. "I actually came here for a reason." "Naturally, there's a reason. Every man who comes here will say so, but after reading your performance just now, I will give you a chance to explain one or two on behalf of Su Yan. If it is really important, I will overlook it. If not, he don't blame this elder when I say bad things about you when I see Su Yan next time." Qianyu looked at him with a smile. Yang Kai was sweating bucket, but he quickly looked calm and talked about Shen Fenlei's invitation to come here. During the period, he also mixed his doubts about Wang Yuhan. To be continued.